Operation Sindoor was all about an Atmanirbhar technology, modern warfare. I have with me Dr. V.K. Saraswat, Member Science and Technology, NITI Aayog, and former Director General of the Defense Research and Development Organization. Dr. Saraswat, thanks a lot for speaking to me. What is your first reaction to Operation Sindoor? And DRDO performed excellently?
Operation Sindoor has really demonstrated the capacity and capability of DRDO to build the modern weapon systems in strategic sector, air defense sectors, air surveillance system, and integrated command and control system for air defense of the country. The success of missiles like Akash, the success of missiles like BrahMos, hitting the Pakistani targets with pinpointed accuracy, engaging the Chinese aircrafts, demonstrate that DRDO has the capability and capacity to build such missiles. And today, it's not DRDO alone. The Indian industry has demonstrated that we can produce such high-tech missiles in large numbers and provide to the armed forces.
What about the anti-drone systems?
We also have similar capacity in terms of anti-drones today. You saw how many drones were taken out. 400, 500 drones were simultaneously being, and we were in a position to attack all of them and bring them down. Not even one drone could do anything. This only shows that we have capacity, capability to do. DRDO has brought country into the realm of Atmanirbhar. In fact, this is the war where DRDO's self-reliance in the defense capability has been amply demonstrated. Except for S-400, which is one of the vectors which we got from Russia, I think all the platforms which were used in this Operation Sindoor, whether it was BrahMos, it was Akash, or AEW&C, or some of the guns which we have used today, all of them belong to DRDO's development profile. That shows DRDO has the capacity and capability, and all the talk which normally people keep to say that DRDO is not performing has been completely denied today by the performance of what DRDO's weapon system have done.
So that all that talk of DRDO and the acronym as Defenseless Research and DUD Organization should be laid to rest once and for all?
I think all the people who have been carrying this message on different reports which have been done. First report was done by Professor Rama Rao when I was the Secretary DRDO for modification. And the latest report which has been done by Professor Vijay Raghavan completely shows that their thinking, their process of looking at how DRDO should perform is completely out of the tune. DRDO has a very robust system of managing research and development along with industry, along with academia, and within the 39 laboratories of the country. We have a very cohesive method of doing things. We have no regimentation. We have a democratic process of doing research and development, and we are in a position to do all that with the Indian industry. You see the example of Akash. When we realized that Akash has to be manufactured in large numbers for meeting the future requirements, we went to two production agencies, Bharat Electronics and Bharat Dynamics Limited, and a large number of subsystems of Akash were coming from the private sector. Same is the case when BrahMos was required. I see the vision of Dr. Pillai and Dr. Kalam at that time, and later on Mr. Venugopalan, who was responsible for the complete design of the system. All of them realized that we have to have indigenous production capacity for a missile of this class. So we opened up not one sector. We have about 3 to 4 manufacturing units of BrahMos, which are manufacturing BrahMos for the ship launch system, for the ground launch system, for the air launch system, and even submarine launch system. We have so many platforms from which the BrahMos is installed. It is the vision of Dr. Pillai, Dr. Kalam, and Mr. Venugopalan that we are in a position today to see that BrahMos has performed so well, and India is completely robust in defending against enemies like Pakistan.
So, a very happy day for you after Operation Sindoor. Not just that India brought Pakistan to the knees, but all the systems where you had your signature and your touch worked beautifully. So, a very happy day for Dr. Saraswat.
I was lucky that I was part of the IGMD program right from its inception of 1982 and continued to play major roles from 1982 to 2013. Whether it was Prithvi, whether it was the ballistic missile defense system which has been developed under my leadership at that time, and also the BrahMos missile, the Akash missile which have been productionized, the AEW&C which was also done during that period and today it is operational. So these systems are really showcasing the capability of DRDO. And on top of that, you have also realized that international collaborations wherever we have done has been at our calling. For example, the MRSAM project, which was again, MRSAM is one more missile which was used during Sindoor, which was originally from Israel, but today they call it Barakat, but actually it is MRSAM, which is being manufactured by Bharat Electronics in large numbers. And we use that Barak and completely modernize, localize the whole self-reliance is so much that today we are independent of any country. So we have demonstrated that India today, with the help of DRDO, our armed forces, has the technology for what is called Integrated Air Defense Command, Control and Surveillance System, ISCCS. Now this was completely unknown when we started doing projects like Akash and BMD and things like that. But today we have seen that we have what we call as the centric warfare, but network-centric warfare, very clearly demonstrated. Whether you are in the western part or in the eastern part, complete communication, command, control of various weapon systems during this Sindoor program have been demonstrated. All that because the software, the hardware, the communication protocols, the complete EW systems, all of them were designed, developed, manufactured in DRDO and integrated with various platforms.
So when there is no outside support, then the controls are also not there. So this was an Indian Atmanirbhar war fought with systems which were controlled by Indians and trained for Indian soldiers.
In fact, my definition of self-reliance is independence from controls, because we are a group of scientists in this country who have fought all controls throughout our life.
Correct.
Whether it was missile technology control regimes or GATT or whatever they were there, we were denied the smallest of the equipment, the smallest of the material, the smallest the component, and we struggled, developed with the help of our industry, our academia and all the DRDO labs, leading to that today these weapon systems have more than 70 to 80% to the indigenous content. Yes, some 20% electronics component we still import because of the various reasons. But even in that area today, you know how our government is doing.
Sure.
We are really inching forward in the area of semiconductors. So I'm 100% certain that this 20% also one day will come down to less than 5%.
As somebody who's seen 65, 71 wars, is there something we could have done better or something we should have done more in Operation Sindoor?
I think we have done better than what we did in 71. We have done far better than what we have done in 65. The warfare scenarios in those days were different. Today the warfare is a stand-up warfare. You see, the greatest quality of this type of combat is that we have not crossed the line of control. We are using all our stand-up weapons with kind of accuracy that we are able to finish about 13 aircraft Air Force bases.
Correct.
And that has deterred the country and brought it down to the ceasefire line. That is the kind of strength these indigenous technologies have shown. Had not BrahMos gone to those 13 places, I don't think we would have achieved this. Have we not intercepted the Chinese aircraft? Have we not intercepted those drones? I'm sure we would not be getting that kind of strength. All this technology strength is from DRDO, is from Indian industry, from Indian academia. That shows that India has arrived as a self-reliant nation in defense.
Should we have targeted more of the Pakistani aircrafts and knocked off the entire fleet? Because still there is a lot remaining. We had an opportunity to knock all of them out. There was kind of a constraint which we exercised.
See, you should understand what was the objective of Sindoor. Our objective of Sindoor was to first target the terrorists, all the hideouts of the terrorists, and hence we have followed that doctrine. When we followed that doctrine, then we realized that our enemy is actually not following any norms. They were using civil aircrafts
Shield ki tarah.
as a shield. So when we realized that, and when we realized that they are going to do something very, very drastic, then we said within about 23 minutes, our government decided, our armed forces decided, and we attacked 13 air bases. Our purpose was to tell them that we can also hit the military targets. Besides, we have already finished their terrorist hideouts on the first day itself, but later on we also showed them that our indigenous capability is such that without crossing the line of control, we can reach to the farthest point in the territory of Pakistan.
Do you think the nuclear bluff has been called out and we are no longer under a nuclear blackmail, and the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, also said that very boldly?
I think it is very true that the kind of fear which Pakistan used to always create, that on the drop of a hat they will start using the nuclear weapon, that has been certainly called off. The kind of damage which we have brought on to their force bases clearly shows that there is no possibility of any nuclear mobilization in this case. In fact, we have reached so close to their nuclear installations. You have seen the newspaper, you have seen the reports that are coming, that we have the capability. They know that we can reach wherever. So when a situation like that is known to them, I think the bluff is already called off.
Do you think your baby, which is Prithvi, should have been given an opportunity to perform?
See, Prithvi and Agni are strategic weapons. And the strategic weapons will be used only when there is nothing else to be done. And I hope India never gets a chance to do that, because that's a nuclear arsenal, which is the last word. I personally believe that these are the weapons which have provided to our country the strongest deterrence capability. And that deterrence is mainly because we have Prithvis, we have Agnis of 1 to 5, and we have a range more than 5,000 kilometers, so we can handle enemy, whether it's an eastern enemy or a western enemy or another enemy. So we have that kind of a strength today. And I feel very proud that as a developer of Prithvi, as a developer of BMD system, we have given the necessary strength to the nation that, look, don't touch me. If you do touch me, there is going to be aggressive action.
And we also have our nuclear-powered submarine,
yes,
and the missiles which go into the submarine. And they also give you that third.
In fact, I should mention to you that when I came into as a CCR&D, one of my major objectives was to integrate the K-15 missile with the submarine, Arihant. And I remember the number of trials, the number of tribulations we had. One of the most difficult technology to launch a missile from submarine. DRDO could master it. That today we have K-15s, we have K-4s, we have number of submarines which are coming today with nuclear power. I think that shows the complete strength of India's self-reliance. We are not dependent on our nuclear power plant on anybody. We are not dependent on K-4 or K-5 missiles on anybody today. India is producing. Unlike Pakistan, that even for drones they are rushing to Turkey.
Correct.
Even for the smallest aircraft and EW systems they are rushing to China and so on. I think India is fairly strong as far as military hardware and military technologies are concerned today.
So, future of wars tested in Operation Sindoor, because this was mainly an air warfare and a modern warfare of a kind, very rare to see and very hard to master, and Indians did that.
In fact, I am very happy that the lectures which I used to give in 2004, 2005 on network-centric warfare, the capability for India to develop network centricity, because we were working at that time on the ballistic missile defense, which is not possible unless there is a proper network-centric warfare. Integration of the radars, the communication system, the mission control centers, the launch control centers, and all the launchers that has been demonstrated today.
Sure.
And it is an outcome of the BMD program, which has got into IACCS system of India today.
And what about the satellites? How did they perform? Because
Exceedingly
between ISRO and DRDO, you have several satellites which give us amazing surveillance.
In fact, the satellites have supported this warfare in a big way because both in terms of surveillance and navigation, we have the support of our indigenous satellites which are keeping an eye on the Western Front 24/7. We have got the navigation information, we have got the surveillance information, and we have seen the post delivery of a weapon impact that has happened, the kind of craters that has been used. I think our satellites have played a major role. As normally I would say this, that India works on satellites for peaceful purpose, but if required we can use it for the military purpose, and we have demonstrated this enough. While we are not into satellite warfare today, but use of satellite for military applications, both in terms of communication, navigation, surveillance, reconnaissance, I think have been amply demonstrated today, and all with indigenous capability.
And DRDO's EMI sat, because that was used to paint the frequencies and radars for Pakistan. How did that perform?
Yeah. In fact, today, the electronic warfare system of India is very potent. One of the labs which has provided to all the three services, the EW systems, Army, Navy and Air Force, is our DLRL in Hyderabad.
Correct.
And also our CABs and others. I think this system ensures that we were able to jam some of their radars and some of their other systems and even some of the aircrafts. That has shown the EW capability today. And most of it was from the Chinese origin.
Correct.
That also demonstrated that today we don't have to worry about China.
Absolutely.
That we have an equipment which can take care of the Chinese equipment also.
So while taking care of Pakistan, we sent
have
a
also
message to our northern and eastern neighbor.
Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful. And what about our directed energy weapons? Because they have also come into play, especially in the anti-drone system, and some of that was developed during a tenure from you and a little later.
In fact, I started the directed energy weapon program when I was the CCRND, and we created an organization called CHESS. And that CHESS has today demonstrated that we can hit a drone at a distance of 10 kilometers, 2 kilometers at altitudes, and with a pinpoint accuracy. You know, like directed energy weapons using fiber optic laser, we are able to now realize systems. It's a reality. It's in production today. And I'm sure in the next warfare, whenever it will happen, we will certainly be using the directed energy weapons for hitting the drones.
So, your Prithvi and Agni, the big babies which came from your arsenal, was not used because they are weapons of peace?
Yes, they are the weapons of peace, but the deterrence which they have given, the kind of strength which Prithvi and Agni with the nuclear arsenal have given, I think that keeps the enemy away from taking into any misadventure.
And what about, how soon can we have a system like S-400? Because S-400 was deployed and I'm told it was not used, but there is a lot of faith and it deterred the enemy. Yeah. Can we have our own, or do we already have something which is...
We have an equivalent of S-400. Our ballistic missile defense program, which I was leading.
The endo and exo.
The endo atmosphere and exo atmosphere. We have today the radars, we have the mission control centers, we have the communication links, we have the interceptors, both what we call as the PDV and the AAD. And the two more are under development, AD1 and AD2. Can handle any ballistic missile coming towards anywhere in the country from either the eastern side or from the western side. We have the capability, and this is completely network centric. Completely network centric. Probably if we have to defend a capital city like Delhi or defend a business capital like Bombay, I think these are the weapons which we have today. S-400 is a tactical system. where these are strategic systems which can take long-range missiles coming from large distance and handle them at a height of 70 kilometers, 100 kilometers, and so on. So even if it is a nuclear-tipped missile coming to you, if it is intercepted, there is no nuclear impact on the country.
Correct.
We have the capability today, and I'm sure government is giving permissions now for their deployment as early as possible.
See, the mood in DRDO, and I have reported DRDO for a very long time, was quite sullen, and morale was very low. What is your message directly to the scientists at DRDO after Operation Sindoor, when the capabilities have been demonstrated? Because DRDO capabilities can be demonstrated only in a war, not otherwise. So what is your message to the DRDO scientists?
I think Operation Sindoor and many other past events have demonstrated that DRDO scientists have the capability to design, develop, manufacture the state-of-the-art weapon systems, whether they are ground-based systems, the missiles or aircrafts or EW systems. There is no segment of weaponry which is not handled by DRDO. Such a wide spectrum, I don't think anywhere it is available. And DRDO is the only organization which covers every aspect of it, including the support of the armed forces to fight battles on Siachen and high altitudes and cold climate and things like that. I don't think so that there is an organization equal to DRDO in the country which can provide that kind of a canvas. And we feel, because I'm part of the DRDO, remain always, we feel that DRDO should feel very, very proud that it has done a great service to the nation by working relentlessly together in a harmonious manner for the last 50, 60 years and brought our country to this level of excellence.
So how's the Josh?
Josh is high.
The Josh is high.
High. Josh is high.
Enemy should be worried.
Enemy should be worried that there is an organization like DRDO which can create problem for them.
So there you have it. That is Dr. V.K. Saraswat, former Director General of the Defense Research and Development Organization and now part of government's think tank NITI Aayog as Member Science and Technology. He says, this war has shown the prowess of DRDO, and all the talk of breaking it up, closing it down, sending it to the private sector should probably end. So that bad acronym which was used for DRDO, DRDO meaning Defense-less Research and Dud Organization, should once and for all be matti mein mila dena chahiye, as Prime Minister would have said. This is the era of modern warfare. This is the era of network-centric warfare, and India's scientists delivered. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also thanked the scientists for delivering. With camera person Sanjay Kaushik in New Delhi, Pallav Bagla for NDTV.